Before I start my next story, let me show you a series of pictures. These are from 2020. And this is what you see in the pictures. Empty airports, stagnant conveyor belts, grounded flights, and airline crew out of jobs. This was how the aviation industry looked during the Wuhan virus pandemic. It was clearly a bad time for the sector. Travel was suspended, losses were mounting, and airlines were bleeding money every single day. Cut to 4 years later, and it looks like quite the U-turn. Here's a report by the International Air Transport Association. It's the trade association of global airlines, and this is the latest report that they've come out with. They've revised their profit forecasts for 2024. The aviation industry will earn nearly $1 trillion this year. Globally, $1 trillion. It's an all-time high, and that's because of a lot of factors. One, record number of passengers. Nearly 5 billion people will take flights this year, which is more than half of the global population. Reason number two, record volume of air cargo. That's transportation of goods through an air carrier. It's expected to reach 62 million tons in 2024, and all of this is boosting the revenue. But it's not just the earnings that are going up. The cost too will mount. Airlines worldwide have the same story. Rising labor costs, supply chain constraints, global geopolitical disruptions, and of course climate change, which is turbocharging turbulence, and airlines are paying the price for it. So the total cost for this year will also be high at around $936 billion. It's an annual increase of more than 9%, which leaves us with profits. Revenue minus cost. The airline industry is expected to clock around $30 billion in profits in 2024. It was around $27 billion last year, so profits will rise. Technically, it's not a significant number, a net profit of 3.1% per passenger. It's a profit of just about $6, so the margins are still quite tight. And yet, the turnaround is spectacular because just 4 years ago, this industry was in a slump with $140 billion in losses, and now it is making profits. But the road ahead is not smooth. The first issue is supply chains. More people are flying than ever before, but there's a shortage of everything. Planes, engines, flight parts, infrastructure, even the people who fly planes. There's a global shortage of pilots. It is hurting the industry. Right now, there are only two major plane makers in the world, Airbus and Boeing. In 2018, they delivered around 1,600 planes together, 1,600 planes in 2018. Last year, that number was just 1,100. So the supply gap is very much an issue, and it's unlikely to be resolved in the coming years. Both of these producers, Airbus and Boeing, are pretty much sold out of models until 2030. They've got a record number of orders. And leading this trend is the Gulf. Qatar, the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they're preparing for an aviation boom. Look at their spendings. Emirates has ordered 95 new Boeing planes. They're worth $52 billion. Saudi Arabia will buy 105 Airbus planes. It's the biggest aircraft deal in the history of this kingdom. Dubai is already home to the world's second busiest airport, but now it is building an even bigger one. And it's all with good reason. Passenger traffic will double in West Asia by 2050 because of its unique geography. West Asia acts as a transit hub, a connector between the East and the West. In the coming years, Asia will drive global air traffic. We're talking about upcoming markets like India and Indonesia. This is where we'll see growth. With Gulf cities just a hop away, they will reap the benefits of this. But while West Asia prepares for a growing aviation sector, it's important that the world keeps up too. Airlines must be able to meet growing consumer demands, or we'll be left with sky-high fares and shrinking options. Confused by the barrage of numbers, deafened by the chorus of experts, disoriented by the flying graphics? Don't worry, we've got you covered. On Firstpost, we're keeping things simple. The most important seats, the high-profile candidates, and the most lucid analysis. As India counts its votes, tune in to Firstpost. Catch our live coverage on June 4th on all our platforms. Also, the special edition of Vantage.